write notes in class, I'm going to show you how you can be a weapon against the academic system instead of it being a weapon against you. And I'm telling you that with these steps that I'm going to give you right now, you will be an academic weapon this year. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing well. In today's video, as you can see by the title, I'm going to show you how to be an academic weapon this year. I'm going to show you how you can be a weapon against the academic system instead of it being a weapon against you. Without further ado, let's get into it. So the first one is write stuff down. Like if you have a planner, a whiteboard, or a post-it note, whatever it is, write the things that you need to note down. Especially when you hit college and you have so many things going on, like work, you have school, you have church, you have so many things going on. It's so hard to get lost in that you forget what you need to do. And most of the times, the reasons that we end up not doing the assignments on time or forgetting things is simply because we don't write them down. It is very vital that you have a checklist of things that you need to complete, so it's just always in your head. Some people use their phones, some people use things like Google Calendar to help them. Whatever you gotta do, write your stuff down. The next thing is pray. Now hear me out. Especially when you're going into those classrooms with teachers, you don't know what to expect. Prayer literally changes things. Like you will be so surprised. So before school starts and even during school, you want to pray. You want to pray that you have good teachers, good classmates. You want to pray that you have favor. Favor will help you. I remember I had a teacher, we had a fire drill during one of our quizzes that I was not prepared for. And literally, instead of just saying that we won't do the quiz or we'll try to do it another time, he gave us 10 points for that exam. So sometimes you need favor. And I also think that you need to pray that God gives you the wisdom, because you can have the knowledge, you can know different things, but how to apply it is an issue. So I'm telling you, prayer will help you. Next thing is review notes after class. This is actually something that one of my professors said that I think is really, really important. I know sometimes you're super exhausted from class, you don't really want to go back and revisit the trauma that you experienced during that period. That reviewing your notes after class goes a really long way. Even if you do it for just like 10 or 15 minutes, just skim what you learned, it will help you to retain the information better. I noticed that when you don't review your notes, it's like you are learning the material all over again. So it's better to just get chunks of information and keep learning it as you go. So by the time you get to the test and you're actually studying, you kind of have an idea on what you're studying for. The next thing is pace yourself through the semester. I cannot stress this enough. I know that when you start school, sometimes you're like, oh, I have so much time, right? You have a project or a presentation at the end of the semester and you're like, okay, like I have enough time. But I'm telling you, the semester goes by quickly, very quickly. Before you open your eyes, you're graduating. For instance, if you have a project that's at the end of the semester that's worth like 400 points, the best thing to do is to pace yourself. Maybe 1 week, just put your name on the document. The second week, go through and actually read what is expected of you. The third week, do something else, whatever you got to do, so you don't get to the end of the semester and you're super overwhelmed. Do your assignments. If your assignment is due on Sunday, try to get it done by Friday, or at least start it, so that when Sunday does come around, you're not stressing out because you started at 11 and it's due at 11:59. The next thing is to study effectively. If you get anything from this video, I'm telling you, study effectively, right? It's not just about studying, but actually understanding the things that you are studying. How to study effectively. Number one, sit in a quiet place. When you're studying, when things are going on, it's hard for you to actually grasp the material you're learning. If the TV's on the background, if your nephew's crying, it's hard to focus. So try and find a quiet study place. The next thing I would say is to make sure that you bring your notes, right? And make sure your notes are organized. When the teacher's lecturing and you're writing things down, make sure that you are trying to be as neat and as precise as possible. So when you go back to refer to your notes, you're not sitting there in confusion because you don't know what you did. A good way to help you take notes, I would recommend, is to abbreviate. So don't write everything verbatim down, because by the time you finish, you're literally going to be lost. The teacher's going to be on the next slide and you're going to be still on slide number 1. Something I do is I have little symbols that kind of tell me what I need to know and I understand what I'm saying. So for instance, instead of putting WITH for width, I just put W/. Or if the teacher's saying that this will increase, I put an arrow up to show that it increases. So doing those small little things will help you to write your notes more efficiently and quicker. And another thing is write notes in class. There are students who will literally sit there and not write anything. They will just sit there and listen, and you wonder why you have a 0 in the class. Even if it's not a whole bunch of notes, just write something down, because most likely the teacher is going to say something that isn't in the lecture notes. So you want to write it down. Now that we have our organized notes and we have everything, the next thing I would say is studying is a technique. Studying is different for everybody. So the way I study, and and how it's efficient for me is not necessarily how it's going to be efficient for you. But these are some of the things that have helped me, and hopefully it will help you guys. One of the study methods that I feel like is just traditional is flashcards. Whether you actually write your flashcards down or you do it on a website like Quizlet. Personally for me, I think both is efficient. Flashcards can be super efficient, especially in classes where you have to memorize vocabulary like anatomy, biology, and those types of things. Another thing that helps me to study efficiently is mnemonics or little phrases. I'm somebody that I need little phrases or little songs to help me remember things. Like this really helps, especially if it's something funny or like an inside joke that you have with your friends. It really helps you to remember the information. I remember from my anatomy and physiology class, I would like look at the different bones and make weird funny phrases and like songs and raps to help me remember those things, and it actually does work. Next thing is recall. So basically what this is that you review your notes or the things that you have to remember for maybe 30-45 minutes, however long you need to. You turn your paper over, you close all your notes, and you write down as much information as you can remember. Then you go back and see if you remember a lot of this information. I feel like this is good for stuff like history or like knowing facts. And then another thing that I think is super beneficial is to have a reward system when you are studying. I'm gonna say it again. What is super beneficial in studying is having a reward system. So maybe I tell myself that if I study 10 or 15 minutes every single day for this week, I can go out with my friend. Or I tell myself that if I read this story that I have to read for whatever class, then I can go out and get ice cream. Sometimes you need to have something to look forward to, because if you're just going through the same things and nothing's really happening, it's easy to just give up because you're just like, I'm over this whole thing. Being able to reward yourself for the good things that you are doing that will actually benefit you is very important, because at some point, sometimes academic validation isn't enough, right? You need something else. You need something else to entice you to keep going. After you studied, you've done all the stuff that you needed to do to study and everything like that, is to ask for help. If you get anything from this video, I know I said that before, but if you get anything from this video, this is what you need to get. If you are confused on something, don't stay in your confusion. It's not because you're stupid. It's literally because you just process information different than other people. And sometimes you need that extra help. I'm literally the spokesperson for this specific thing because I hate asking for help. I know it's something I need to work on. But when it comes to school, you don't want to look stupid. You don't want to look like you don't understand the material, especially when you go to classes where it seems like everybody kind of gets what's going on. Number one, when you ask these questions, there is somebody else who is also probably wanting to know, but is not bold enough to ask that question. So you're helping somebody else and it's helping you. In the beginning of the semester, what you are learning is going to be built off of that topic. So if you don't know the basics, you're going to be confused. And then we tell ourselves we're not smart or whatever, but all you need to do is ask for clarification. Sometimes you just need clarification. So if you don't want to ask in class, you can email the teacher, you can go to office hours, whatever you got to do. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. That is literally what the teachers are there for. Next thing is take a break. I know it sounds counterintuitive. You need a break. Sometimes school is just so overwhelming, and this is why most people end up being burnt out before the end of the semester, because you don't take breaks. It is great to study and do all that stuff and be on your grind, but it's also okay to focus on yourself every now and then. If you're feeling overwhelmed, get up and go take a walk. Talk to a friend. Do something, but don't sit there and be frustrated. You're gonna be studying for long periods of time, but I'm telling you, if your brain is on an overload because it's processing so much information all at once, you're not gonna remember anything. So make sure you are taking those necessary breaks. It is okay to take a breather. And the meat and potatoes of what I'm saying is the last step, which is to change your mindset. It is so frustrating sometimes when you go on Rate My Professor. I don't know if people do that, but you go and check out that maybe a teacher is not good or a subject is really hard. Honestly, it just makes you feel like you don't even want to take the class anymore. Trust me, I've been there. Changing your mindset will change everything for you. Sometimes what makes things challenging for people is not the actual content, but their mindset towards the content. For me, I know like chemistry, whenever you say chemistry, my brain just shuts down. I learned that the last couple of semesters that when I really sit down and actually try to understand the material, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's still bad, but not as bad. You need to come in with a different perspective. It's going to be okay. You are going to be successful this year. Forget all the other semesters if they were bad, but I'm telling you, this semester will be different for you. You don't have to sit there in despair and feel like it's the end of the world. You got this. And if somebody else can do it, you can do it. So you too, you got to do the work necessary to be an academic weapon. But if you take what I'm saying and actually apply it to yourself, I'm telling you that you will succeed this semester. And I'm rooting for you, okay? And please root for me too, because it's only the second week, but girl she's feeling this semester. So I hope you guys like this video. I hope it actually helps somebody. Oh yeah, and subscribe, because if I'm giving you all these tips, you definitely should be subscribing. Stay inspired. Bye.